Presented by Progressive Insurance. All guests join us on the Goodyear Hotline. Alan Hahn in for Max, and I'm glad to be back with the guys.
Welcome back, Hahn.
How we doing, Jay? How we doing, Key?
Hello,
How's
how
LA,
are
Key?
you? LA, man, I just got here.
That's what I'm asking you how LA is doing. Why is it being so abrasive? It's 6 a.m.
I just got
3
here.
for you. That's why.
It's wonderful. Don't you worry about how it is. You stay over there. It is magnificent.
Magnificent.
Magnificent, but you know what? If we get into
Hey, and even better, the Dodgers, right? I mean, that's even better.
Too soon, man.
Why don't we talk? You don't want to talk about the Astros this morning or about Tampa Bay? You don't want to talk about them?
No,
I mean, we got to talk about them at some point in time throughout this show, I'm sure. But in the end, come on, Jay. When you're talking about L.A., all we care about is what's going on in Big Blue. You know, the Rams took care of business last night. I'm not a Ram fan, but people that are Rams fans in L.A. certainly watched that game. I watched it. You watched it. Han watched it. And then, and then you talk about the Lakers in preseason. Preseason basketball means nothing, obviously. So we're going to be all right. We'll be fine.
Preseason basketball means nothing when you don't win.
Well, this is also what happens on our show when I get excited about a highlight. Q will be like, it's preseason, no one cares. I'm like, but I care. Yeah. I'm a hooper.
Yeah, it matters.
Yes, thank you. And you care.
I completely understand that. What I don't care, though, is to talk about the Astros doing anything positive or anything that's going on in the American League at this point.
We could talk about the Rays because they beat the Red Sox.
But I am interested to see what the Dodgers do against the Giants in a historic now matchup in the first round. And we'll in the division series. We will have Buster Olney to join us later on this hour to discuss all things baseball. But as Keith mentioned, there was a football game last night. As Week 5 began in the NFL, and then we had a good Thursday night matchup after a couple of not so great ones. And it turns out the NFC West, which we thought was going to be the best division in the sport, we're starting to see some separation all of a sudden and some question marks about a team that, has been a dominant team for the most part with a great quarterback. Uh-oh, Key. They're coming for you.
What are you doing, Key? What is
That's the studio, man. Every now and then they test the I think they're testing
and why not at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Fire deal here at LAPC, and this always happens whether you're in this building or you're in the actual radio building, because I'm in the television radio building, and it all literally when I was here for 710 ESPN, literally would go on for hours.
I mean, in their defense, I don't think they expected anyone in the building doing a radio show at 3 a.m. This is probably an ideal time for them to be testing it out.
Exactly. But it's fitting, though, guys, if you think about it. And let's make this Straight Talk brought by Straight Talk Wireless, because maybe the alarm should be sounding in Seattle.
Look at that. Look at that segue.
You're
well
welcome.
Done.
Oh,
because
what a great radio host.
Not only did the Seahawks lose last night to a division opponent, but they might have lost Russell Wilson. We shall find out the extent of the injury to his finger, but he did knock him out of the game. Geno Smith came in to finish it, did get a touchdown, but the Seahawks lose. They lose Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. Do we want to hear, though, you know what, Key, before we listen and hear what Pete Carroll said, you're really good at this. If Pete Carroll knew, if you're Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson just got injured, was knocked out of the game, what would you say to the media?
Well, if they asked me a question about how Russell's doing or why he didn't go back in or something like that, I probably would start off by here. Ask me. Let me get you to tee me up.
Okay. All right. So Russell Wilson left the game. Looked like a finger injury. What's the status?
Well, I think Russ. The thing we know about Russ is he's going to always fight to come back. He really wanted to be out there with his teammates. He didn't come back out in the second half, and we thought it was just a little finger deal, but it turned out to be something maybe a little more serious. He couldn't grip it, but I tell you, if I know anything about Russ, he's certainly getting ready to come back, and I wouldn't rule him out of anything. It was hard to see his teammates not be out there battling with him, and Russ is certainly a guy that loves to play this game, and you can see he was helping us out on the sideline and just doing everything capable to make sure that his teammates were trying to get this victory for us. And Russ is he's just good. I don't know. I don't have enough good things to say about Russ.
I love when Key does this, because Key can talk for 5.5 minets and not say one damn
nothing.
thing.
No, he's the best.
Say one damn thing.
Yeah.
Just talk you in circles and be like, wow, that was very thorough.
But we're going to get to Matt Nagy, because that's exactly what you should do when you're at the podium. Say nothing. Talk a lot. Say nothing. But on this show, of course, you want to say a lot of things, and you guys usually do. All right, so let's now hear from the actual Pete Carroll on the injury to Russell Wilson.
This is a significant night because Russell wasn't able to finish the second half. He's got a badly sprained finger that we need to figure out.
Yep.
There's
Sounds
a
about
lot
right.
of work to be done in assessing all of that. Russell's one of the great healers of all time, and he'll do whatever he can to get back as soon as absolutely possible.
He is a healer.
The great healer of all time.
Russell Wilson, the healer.
Key, whenever we do that segment, we had to clip that little piece off. He's one of the greatest healers of all time.
Well, I think what he's saying, though, in fair, tongue in cheek, whatever we're doing, we're having fun with it. But I think what he's saying is, Russell, if I can interpret coach speak, I think what he's saying is Russell comes back fast, he heals fast. All of a sudden you think he's out, and the next thing you know, he's practicing and he's playing in a game. I think that's what he's saying, huh?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's talking about the fact that he does also play through a lot of stuff, that he is tough. He wants to make that point. But it is also, again, 149 consecutive starts. It's the longest by an active quarterback, and that we'll see in jeopardy. Of course, they do have the long week now, the mini bye. We'll find out if he's available to play in Pittsburgh against the Steelers on October 17th. But, just not Russell Wilson alone, but that whole team. I mean, that's a legion with no boom, that defense.
Zero boom.
450 plus total yards in 4 straight games. This is not the Seattle that we used to know.
Well, also, I mean, they got no pressure. They had 1 sack. So it seemed like Matthew Stafford can sit in the pocket and just pick you apart. Literally, he didn't play well in the first half, but Stafford played exceptionally well in the second half.
We have play calling in the first half.
And then here's the one thing. You know that the Rams are a pass-first team. One of the things we talked about them earlier in the season, no Cam Akers, how much that would hurt them. But when you look at what they did on the ground last night, I mean, that's a question you have for Seattle. They can beat you up on the ground. The Rams beat them up on the ground, and there's no pass rush. So Stafford could just stand there in the pocket and take his time.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people is concerned about the Rams' ability to run the football, but Sony Michel is not chopped liver. And I think when you look at him, he's a pro. He's a guy who's been in this league. He understands the position. And within this Rams offense, and it's a pretty dynamic offense all the way around when they start cooking, because you have to account for Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. And now they add Deshaun Jackson to the mix, and Von Jefferson is coming along pretty good for a young receiver. So with a productive quarterback like Matthew Stafford, I mean, early on in the game, Matthew Stafford was struggling a little bit, made you think, oh, okay, well, maybe it's not what it is. And then he caught fire. Things started to kind of go their way a little bit. Things turned. I think this game would have been a little bit different had Russell Wilson finished, although Geno Smith played like a Geno Smith that the Jets thought they were getting once upon a time.
You didn't need to go there. Now, they're off.
Why you got to go there?
Yeah, we're going to get a lot of that today. I have a feeling.
Quarterbacks just
What do you
play
mean?
exceptionally well when they're not in uniform.
Honestly,
my immediate thought when I woke up this morning was, man, Seahawks-Panthers is going to be a great NFC Championship game with Sam Darnold against Geno Smith.
I didn't come here for this, okay? I did not come here for that kind of talk about the Jets. We go to London on Sunday morning, baby. I'm looking forward to brunch with the Jets. But you know what? Again,
You're going to London?
Well, the Jets are going.
The Jets are going. Yeah, Allen's not going to London.
No, I can't go to London. But I would if I could, Key, because I am a fan of the team. On the Rams side of things, it's interesting that offense we talked about just quickly here, because McVay's got to figure out how to keep everybody happy, and Cooper Kupp gets targeted a ton. And then, of course, Deshaun speaks up. Now he gets some targets, and then it's Robert Woods who says, hey, don't forget about me. And then he had himself a big game. So maybe that Rams offense still trying to figure things out with those weapons and their new quarterback. But in the NFC West, we did talk about how this could be a really good division. So the question we have for you at 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776 on the Dr. Pepper call-in line is, for this division and all, really the whole league, which NFL team's future stock is rising and which one is falling? We have it up also on the Twitter feed. But the question is for just the NFC West. Future stock on these teams, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks. I'm selling on the Seahawks right now. The others, though, you probably still want to buy. We'll discuss that, certainly, and more. That was Straight Talk, brought by Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. So we'll continue on that conversation. We'll do the buying the futures throughout the NFL on the different teams. But Coach Speak,